Why would we go away and live our life away from our loved ones, away from a family, away from our friends, friends with the one we grew up with, close ones? Sounds crazy, isn't it? That's what I did. And the click is basically realizing that you need to do that for yourself. Personally was following opportunities, a job opportunity, and that led me to Newcastle for some reason in the north of the UK. I ended up with the Geordies. Not being fluent in English, imagine that. Understanding Geordies. Honestly, if you haven't heard the Geordie accent, Google it, please. Go on YouTube, check some videos, come back to me. And this is what I had to put up with. I was literally flabbergasted. Flabbergasted. Here you go. I didn't even pronounce the word correctly. Then you have the jump. You realized, you decided that you wanted to do it, so you jump. So many people are afraid to take that step. They just don't want to do it, they're scared. It's going too far away from what you know, it's unknown. Why? But for some other people, like me, there is this little inner voice that is craving for exploring the world. This thirst of discovery, this crazy globetrotter inside you that just want to come out. So you take the jump. It was not too difficult for me to take that jump. I just followed that opportunity I had, and I needed to be working abroad and learning all I've learned so far. Then, after the jump, comes this adaptation. You're there. You are in the other place, the place you've decided to go for. So you have to put up with getting, well, for me, it was getting a national insurance number, getting a bank, getting a place to live, all of this without having any references at all, not knowing anybody on site, not knowing anyone, to be short, and having just a contract I just signed, a job in which I didn't even started. And people that just had to trust me and just give me all the things, a bank account, a place to live, etc. But then you adapt. You're there, you've got everything, somehow you manage to do it. So you have to put up with discovering this new culture, adapting to the people around you, the language, just relying on yourself a lot, which leads you to discover new strengths. You feel like you did a lot, you accomplished a lot, and you actually can do so much more after that. You can actually live anywhere you want, I felt. But obviously, during this adaptation period, you are going through some difficult phases. You're missing important events. You're missing birthdays, family reunion, weddings, and I'm not even counting this year. Imagine all the events I had to miss out during COVID. It was tough, but then you just strengthen. You do it. So after you've adapted, you have this new identity. First, your new name, because people will pronounce it differently. In France, I was called Sandra, and since I was a kid, I didn't really bother. I felt Sandra because in France you've got en, it's pronounced en, and it doesn't make any difference, en or an. Some people just pronounce it the same way. So I was called Sandra all my life in France, and then I arrived in the UK, and people actually started to pronounce my name correctly, Sendra. Thank you, guys. Because now this is how I want to be called. So I had to go back to my family, friends, everyone who call me Sandra from the beginning, and I just decided to be called Sandra now. So they have to adapt as well. So you were born in a sense. So there was Sandra 1.0, Sandra version 2.0. You, it feels like I've lived several lives. It's strange in a good way. Then comes the adventure. you settled, you actually doing well, you've discovered new people, new friends, and you feel like you're living your best life. You're a tourist in your own town. You're exploring the UK. It's great. So you become an hybrid, an enriched version of yourself. It's so enriching. I would honestly recommend it if you have this idea of exploring somewhere, of living somewhere else. Just go for it. Think about it. Obviously, it's not the best ideal time to do it, but it's so much worth it. In conclusion, you have to also find where is home. Define where is home in the end, because you've lived in so different places sometimes that you have to decide where to go. But this is an adventure I really recommend. So enjoy. Thank you.
And our third speaker was Sendra, and Sendra was evaluated by Mary Robson. So please would you welcome Mary Robson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. So again, we have had another lovely speech from Sendra tonight. I love the way that she immediately draws us in and makes us part of the part of the group, because she starts off with we. We are going to be in the shoes of an expat. So you're immediately part of what's going on. You're not just a member of the audience. And Sendra has a really engaging presence when she's speaking. She has a smile, the facial expressions, there's that intimacy as well of her voice, a very engaging presence. I think, though, that this is my first suggestion here, is that the position that Sendra is in when she's speaking is very, very close to the camera. Now, this is great for intimacy, but it does mean that on those occasions when she was using her shoulders, her hands, and so on, and perhaps coming very, very close to the camera, that is a little bit intimidating. So I would suggest maybe coming a little bit further back so that we get the full benefit of all your expressiveness. I love the language that Sendra used. She had some beautiful phrases like crazy globetrotter and become a hybrid. Another element that I really enjoyed was the structure. And I think that Sendra had a fantastic idea here with the 5 steps of becoming an expat, or when you are an expat, perhaps to becoming more comfortable. And we had click, jump, adaptation, a new identity, and adventure. And that was a great way to structure the speech and take us through what she was saying. I think I have a suggestion here, though, is to make each of those points very definite so that you can identify them, reiterate each one. So we had click, jump, and adaptation, but the identity and the adventure were rather lost as you went through your speech. Another thing, I was waiting for the elements in the speech that would have ticked the box for the communication style criteria in the project. And that was perhaps somewhat hidden within a really excellent speech content. So perhaps there could have been ways that you might have emphasized or brought out the communication elements within your speech. There's plenty of scope for doing this given your topic, but it was rather hidden. But I loved the conclusion, the philosophical question, where is home? Which is a very, very interesting thing for us to inquire, and enjoy the adventure. So a great conclusion to your speech, Sendra. Well done. I enjoyed it very much indeed. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.